Let's talk about GoFundMe. GoFundMe apologized because they allowed Rodney Hinton Jr.'s family to create him a GoFundMe. They apologized to the law enforcement community about allowing him to have a GoFundMe, and they closed the GoFundMe and refunded everyone's money. Well, GoFundMe, let's talk about it. GoFundMe, aren't you the same people that allowed George Zimmerman to raise thousands of dollars for killing Trayvon Martin? And GoFundMe, let's talk about the woman that recently called a 5-year-old a racist name. You guys let her raise how much? So, it's all becoming very clear now. See, GoFundMe, this is not about innocence or guilty. It's about you being consistent. If you have a policy, we need it to be fair. And you have to treat everybody the same. Because right now, GoFundMe, you know what you looking like. It feels like a lot of racism and rules, but only for us.
So we all heard around the country the unaliving of 18-year-old Ryan Jr., right, on May 1st in Ohio, where we saw the video of him running away. Now, they said that he was in a stolen car. He had a firearm on him. And now the autopsy report has come back, and there's some things that doesn't correlate with what the police department is saying. But we know that he was running away, and while he was running, shots were fired, and ultimately, Ryan was unalive. Now, when the family was able to see this video, his father, Rodney Hinton Jr., saw the video and he lost his mind, right? He jumped into his car. He rode around. They got him on surveillance video riding around, riding through the parking lot. And then all of a sudden, he went and he unalived police sheriff deputy Larry Henderson. Now, Larry Henderson was out directing traffic when he was run over by Rodney Hinton Jr., and there was a big accident. Some were saying that Rodney Hinton wasn't driving the car. Some were saying that he is. Now, his lawyer, Clive Bennett, is representing him, and they're saying that he's pleading insanity, that he's lost his mind. Maybe when he saw the video of his son's life being taken by the police, at some point, he just lost it. He might have been dealing with mental health issues prior to that. We don't know. That's what trials are for, and we're going to find out. But he had a GoFundMe set up in his name to raise funds to pay his lawyer. Now, the Attorney General, Dave Yost, is very upset. He's livid. He's trying to get rid of this crowdfunding for him, saying that no criminals should be allowed. Anybody with criminal arrests pending should not be allowed to fundraise. Now, that doesn't make any sense because you're innocent to proven guilty. What if I get accused of a charge that I'm innocent of, but I don't have the money to defend myself, right? I can't crowdfund? That don't even make any sense. But let's listen to what they're saying. Check this out.
The competitor to this site, GoFundMe, is a good citizen in this matter. They actually have a policy that says we don't do crowdfunding for people who are accused of violent crime. This is a good policy. It is consistent with public policy. And in fact, there were several attempts to start a GoFundMe page for the defendant in this case. And GoFundMe, consistent with their policy, took those pages down as soon as they found them and sent the money back to the donors. That's what should happen here. Well, we have had several questions. There was, some of you may remember, the Son of Sam law, the Berkowitz case in New York. Created laws at the state level around the country. We have one here that prevents the selling of the story for personal gain from the commission of a crime. I've looked at that statute. I've also looked at Title 17 of the Ohio Revised Code, which discusses the rules and requirements around charitable fundraising. I don't see anything at the moment that jumps out as a clear legal theory under current law. The Son of Sam law was not written. In fact, it was before we had such a thing as crowdfunding, a relatively recent phenomenon. It may well be that the General Assembly of Ohio should undertake to pass a law that would regulate this kind of thing as being contrary to the public interest. It would be, I think, pretty easy to enact a law that made GoFundMe's policy the policy of the state that you may not do crowdfunding for someone accused of a violent crime. Be that as it may, it is my hope today that the platform will itself, because it is the right thing to do, follow their own path. Their terms of service allow them to be cancel a page if it's a violation of community standards. I certainly think that the murder of a law enforcement officer is something that would violate this community standards, and I'm calling upon them to voluntarily do the right thing. Thank you.
So they're upset, and he's saying that this is a miscarriage of justice. Well, when Tamir Rice was unalive, there was no bills passed. Y'all wasn't trying to pass any bills. It was basically, hey, this is just the cost of being a police officer on the job. That's what y'all attributed to. It wasn't a big deal, right? These attorney generals wasn't out there trying to pass legislation or get things passed when that happened to him. There's so many things that we can go over that happened in Ohio. So now when this police officer is unalive, right, and this man is able to crowdfund for his legal defense, now y'all want to push the goalposts back. Now y'all want to push the goalposts back. This is typical. This is typical, right? So the lawyer was even on there speaking on this, right? And the lawyer got up there, the lawyer for the police officer and Lamley and all this, they got up there and they said this.
At this time, we're going to have Zachary Gottsman come up. He is the attorney representing the Henderson family.
Thank you, Bethany. My name is Zach Gottsman. I am counsel for the Henderson family. First, as an initial matter, I would like to thank General Yost for coming forward to address this disgraceful situation. While the Attorney General has limited tools at his disposal on how to respond to this situation, there are legal and equitable claims available to the family that are more broad and give them more tools at their disposal. It is our intention to pursue all claims at their disposal to the fullest extent possible, because it is shocking to the conscience that Give, Send, Go would host a campaign for fundraising for someone who murdered a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy. It's a flagrant violation of Ohio public policy that anyone should profit from their criminal acts. And it is our intention as attorneys for the family to take legal actions to put an end to that and to recover any proceeds, ensure that those proceeds are disgorged so that this criminal and his family do not profit based on the death of this deputy. Thank you.
At this time, we will take questions from the media.
These fundraisers claim to be set up by people related to Rodney Hinton.
Listen to me. That lawyer is full of crap. It is not a flagrant disrespect to Ohio's public policy or breaking the law. You are innocent to proven guilty. If you are brought up on charges and you know you're innocent, and the only way that you can raise funds to hire an attorney to defend your case is to crowdfund, then you should be able to do it. You should be able to do it. They don't like the fact that this situation happened and now they want to change the law. But if you change that law, it affects everybody else. So if you set this precedent and allow that, then you watching that disagree with me. If your son, brother, sister, aunt, or somebody, anybody get charged with a case and you can't afford the money it will take for a lawyer, you want to crowdfund, they'll tell you can't because they have criminal charges pending. Don't allow them to do that. That's the police making laws that suits them. No, you can crowdfund. It's legal to crowdfund. You're innocent until proven guilty. And we have to, that's what we have trials for. He has to have a trial to see what happened and see if he's mentally competent to stand trial. So his lawyer, so now Clive Bennett's, Rodney Hinton Jr.'s lawyer, he spoke to the news, right? And he explained the situation with Rodney and what he's going through mentally, right? And he said this.
in the death of retired Sheriff Deputy Larry Henderson.
Now, ahead of the indictment, I sat down for a one-on-one interview with Hinton's defense attorney, Clyde Bennett. We talked about everything. It was like an hour-long conversation, from the deadly shooting of Hinton's son to his mental state at the time of the deadly crash. Here's a portion. When you walked into the courtroom and there were 30-plus officers lining the courtroom, and they said it was to show their respect for Officer Henderson, a lot of people would say that was an intimidation factor for Hinton, Mr. Hinton. How is it gauged by him and by you?
Anybody looking at that would say one or two things or both things. It's a show of support for the Deputy Larry Henderson. His colleagues are disheartened. They're sad by his departure or his demise, and I would expect them to support him. But also, one can look at it and say, this is a show of force. This is threatening. This is intimidating. So there's two ways of looking at it, and I think both ways are reasonable when you construe what you saw in that courtroom when there was 30 deputies. I can understand it from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department view, but I can also understand it if that was my son or that was my brother or my uncle or a relative with 30 or 40 police officers 2 or 3 feet away from him when he's in court seeking justice.
Not guilty by reason of insanity is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. And in this, with this absolutely innocent deputy who was plowed down and killed, and he is an exceptional man from everything that I hear as well.
He's a very exceptional man. I didn't know him personally, but I've seen Deputy Henderson more than once, and I've been in contact with him more than once over the years. And let's be clear. I feel for Deputy Henderson, his immediate family, his extended family, his colleagues and fellows at the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. I feel for that community and that family. And the Hintons feel bad for what transpired or what happened to Deputy Henderson. They pray for the Henderson family, and I pray for that family too. But I had to compartmentalize my feelings and do my job. But that doesn't mean that I don't have feelings and that my clients don't have feelings for what happened to Deputy Henderson, because we do.
Is there anything that you think is important that we need to address?
No.
Because you can't go into any more detail about the mental illness, which is what I would want to know about.
I can't. That would be divulging attorney-client privilege
Because the
at
thing
this
is,
stage of the legal process.
as I've said it twice, not guilty by reason of insanity makes a lot of people angry.
Right. Why?
A cop-out. It's a cop-out.
Okay. It's a cop-out if it isn't real.
Right. And that's the thing. Proving the fact that it's real.
Right.
It's like a court case in its own.
The doctor proves that it's real. The medical records proves that it's real. His conduct proves that it's real. And I think that's forthcoming.
Tell me what it was like when you were talking to the family about watching him getting shot by police officers. What was it like in that room? What did they say? How did everyone react to it?
My focus and my concentration was on the reception of the information or the video and the perception of the video from my client, Mr. Hinton. So I really didn't ask about the other individuals and how they received it and what impact, if any, it had on them. I was concerned with Mr. Hinton. So I can't tell you what the other people...
Did he tell you anything on how he was?
No.
Nothing?
No.
He hasn't commented on it at all?
No.
I don't know how much privilege that is.
No. That's as much as I'm probably going to give you, but no, he didn't tell me about that.
Okay.
I don't think he's in a condition to tell me.
Is he in the condition that he shows any remorse or anything right now?
No. No, I think he's in a bad condition, in a bad state right now, and I think he has the residual effect of his mental illness. You don't get rid of mental illness. It doesn't go away. So, the ruse, the fraud, the temporary insanity, I was upset, and then 5 minutes later, you realize what you did when you were wrong, and you're hanging out, doing whatever you typically would do, and you're normal. That's usually a fraud. This man is still under the influence of his mental defect and condition. So I haven't been able to get the information I need from him.
Okay. Let me just reiterate, I said this at 5 o'clock. This interview was like an hour long, and we addressed a lot of different issues. He talked about everything that I asked him. We talk about mental illness a lot. and his plea. Now, following the indictment, he did give me a statement about the death penalty. He says, quote, "It is very easy to obtain an indictment, particularly when you present evidence to a grand jury on the heels of an emotional, provocative, tragic incident. As a matter of law, an indictment is not indicative of guilt. In fact, the judge tells a jury that the indictment means nothing." He went on to say, in this case, the indictment does not change the facts, circumstances, and events of that unfortunate day. It does not change the fact that Mr. Hinton has a history of mental illness. Mr. Hinton experienced a psychiatric episode triggered by watching a video of his son being shot to death. And that because of his mental defect, he did not know the wrongfulness of his conduct when he engaged Deputy Henderson. Bennett says they look forward to their day in court.
That was a fascinating interview. Nice job.
So all I'm gonna say is this, there's going to be trials. We're still waiting to see if this officer is going to be charged with anything after unaliving 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. They're still doing an investigation, but we know we can clearly see in the video that he was hit in the back. Now the autopsy come out and see that he was hit in the back by even another cop, right? While he was fleeing the scene, right? We know that the father saw this video of his son being unalive, right? And he lost his mind, right? Now, other groups can claim temporary insanity, but for some reason, in this country, black folks can't. I think black folks can claim temporary insanity for damn near everything that we've been through as a people, and we're still going through as a people in this country, right? But it's a terrible thing that happened to Officer Larry Henderson. I don't wish that on anybody. I wish that it didn't happen. But things like this in this country, there's multiple reasons as to why it happens and as to why it happened. It shouldn't have happened, but we all understand and know why things like this happen, and things are starting to come to a head in this country, man. And a lot of people are suffering because of it. So we're gonna have to erase bigotry and racism in this country. If not, man, this thing is gonna continue to keep rearing its ugly face, man. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all think that his GoFundMe or his GoSendFund and all his fundraising thing should be cut? What do you guys think about this? Y'all gotta let me know. Leave your comments in the comment section. Subscribe to Street Media TV. If you watch this video, everybody leave a comment. I don't care if you disagree with me or you agree with me, right? These are our opinions. You don't have to call me names. We just disagree, right? We put our opinion. This is my opinion. If you agree, you agree. But everybody that watched this video, leave a comment so these videos can get out to the algorithm. So I'm going to cut this video short. If you made it this far, remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.